What if I told you that most great women are not recognized as great while they are busy becoming great? The world often waits for women to prove themselves loudly, but true greatness usually grows quietly. Today, I want to show you 20 powerful signs that reveal a woman is not just living life, she is designed for greatness. If you are a woman, you may find yourself inside this list. If you love a woman who dreams bigger than comfort, you may recognize her here too. And if you are searching for purpose, these signs might feel like looking into a mirror. So stay with me. The first sign, being comfortable walking alone when her path requires it, reflects a deep psychological and emotional maturity that separates surface-level ambition from purpose-driven greatness. A woman meant for greatness understands that meaningful journeys are rarely crowded. While society often measures success by visibility, validation, or social approval, true high-level achievement often begins in spaces where no applause is present. Walking alone does not mean isolation out of weakness. Rather, it represents intentional independence, rooted in clarity of direction. Such a woman knows that many voices around her may carry opinions shaped by fear, tradition, or limited perspective, and she learns to listen selectively, prioritizing wisdom over noise. Comfort in solitude also builds mental resilience. When external distractions are removed, self-reflection becomes sharper, allowing her to evaluate her choices honestly. She is able to question her own assumptions, refine her goals, and align her actions with long-term vision rather than temporary emotional pressure. Many people fear being alone because they associate solitude with rejection. However, the woman destined for greatness views solitude as a laboratory of personal development where confidence, discipline, and strategic thinking are quietly strengthened. This trait also protects her from losing identity through social comparison. In environments dominated by competition, constant comparison can dilute authenticity. She does not measure her progress by the speed of others, but by the consistency of her own movement. When opportunities require courage, she is willing to walk forward even if the road is unfamiliar, trusting preparation, knowledge, and inner conviction more than external reassurance. Greatness grows in people who can move when certainty is incomplete, but purpose is clear. The second sign, measuring success by progress rather than comparison, reflects a mature mindset that protects long-term potential. In a world dominated by social media visibility and instant recognition, many people evaluate their lives by looking sideways at others. This creates a dangerous psychological pattern where confidence rises and falls depending on external achievements. A woman meant for greatness understands that life is not a competitive scoreboard, but a continuous journey of self-improvement. She focuses on becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable, rather than trying to prove superiority over someone else. Progress-based thinking shifts attention from what others have to what she is building internally. Instead of asking whether she is better than someone else, she asks whether her skills, knowledge, emotional control, and strategic thinking are better than they were in the past. This mindset encourages sustainable growth because it removes unnecessary pressure to perform for validation. Comparison often produces anxiety, jealousy, and distraction because it pushes the mind to chase multiple external standards that may not even align with personal purpose. When success is measured by progress, setbacks become learning data rather than emotional failures. She understands that meaningful achievement is rarely linear. There will be periods of rapid growth followed by slow consolidation phases where learning happens quietly. During those times, she does not lose confidence because she is not comparing her chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. Instead, she evaluates whether today's actions are moving her closer to her vision. This mindset builds patience, strategic discipline, and emotional stability, which are essential foundations for sustained excellence. The third sign, respecting her time like it is her most valuable currency, reflects strategic thinking and disciplined living. A woman meant for greatness understands that time is not simply a resource. It is the invisible architecture of success. While many people treat time casually, allowing distractions, unnecessary commitments, or low-value activities to consume their energy, she approaches time with deliberate intention. Every hour is evaluated through a simple but powerful question. Does this activity contribute to my growth, purpose, or future stability? Respecting time also means learning the power of saying no. Many ambitious individuals fail not because they lack talent, but because they overcommit to responsibilities that do not align with their mission. She does not feel obligated to attend every social event, accept every request, or follow every trend. Instead, she protects her focus like a guardian protects a sacred space. This discipline may appear quiet from the outside, but it is one of the strongest predictors of high achievement, because focus multiplies productivity. She also understands that wasted time is not only about entertainment or leisure. It can also appear as unnecessary perfectionism, procrastination disguised as preparation, or emotional cycles that delay action. Therefore, she develops systems and routines that reduce decision fatigue. Planning her day, prioritizing meaningful work, and maintaining consistent habits become essential practices. Another important aspect is long-term thinking. She is willing to invest time in skills, education, and experience even if immediate rewards are not visible. She knows that success built on rushed foundations often collapses under pressure. By treating time as something sacred rather than endless, she creates space for mastery, stability, and sustainable achievement in her personal and professional journey. The fourth sign, listening more than speaking because she is learning while others are talking, reflects intellectual humility and emotional intelligence combined into one powerful habit. A woman meant for greatness understands that communication is not about dominating conversations, but about extracting value from them. Speaking less does not mean lack of confidence. Instead, it demonstrates strategic awareness. When she listens carefully, she gains access to perspectives, experiences, and information that can improve her decision-making process. Many people speak to express themselves, but she listens to understand systems, motivations, and hidden meaning behind words. This habit also builds leadership authority over time. People naturally trust individuals who demonstrate patience in understanding others. When she listens, she creates psychological safety in conversations, allowing others to share ideas openly. This becomes especially valuable in environments that require collaboration, innovation, or negotiation. Leadership is not measured by how loudly someone speaks, but by how effectively they can influence outcomes through clarity, insight, and respect. Listening also protects her from emotional reaction traps. When faced with criticism, disagreement, or complex social dynamics, she does not rush into defensive responses. Instead, she processes information first. This pause between stimulus and response is where wisdom develops. By observing tone, intention, and context, she learns to separate constructive feedback from noise. Another important dimension is continuous learning. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to understand human behavior, professional knowledge, or social patterns. She treats interaction as informal education. This mindset transforms ordinary discussions into moments of growth because she is constantly collecting insights that strengthen her vision, decision-making ability, and leadership maturity in the long term. If this message resonates with you, pause for a second and share this with a woman who deserves to hear it today. Because sometimes greatness needs to be reminded that it is already growing inside someone. The fifth sign, carrying ambition without becoming arrogant, reflects emotional maturity combined with strong self-awareness. A woman meant for greatness understands that ambition is a fuel for progress, not a weapon for superiority. She dreams big, works hard, and pursues meaningful goals, but she does not allow achievement to transform her character into one that looks down on others. True greatness is measured not only by results, but also by the integrity maintained during the journey toward those results. Ambition without arrogance creates trust in both personal and professional environments. People are naturally more willing to collaborate, support, and mentor someone who remains respectful regardless of success level. She understands that knowledge, opportunities, and talent are often influenced by circumstances beyond individual control. Therefore, success does not become a reason to disconnect from humility. Instead, it becomes a responsibility to use influence wisely and positively. This balance also protects her from the psychological risk of inflated self-importance. Arrogance often grows when achievement is interpreted as personal superiority, rather than a combination of effort, learning, timing, and support systems. She remembers that skills can be improved, positions can change, and recognition can fluctuate. By maintaining humility, she keeps her mind open to correction, feedback, and new learning opportunities. At the same time, she does not confuse humility with self-doubt. She knows her value, protects her boundaries, and confidently pursues her vision. She can celebrate her progress without needing to diminish others. This creates a leadership style that is both strong and approachable, allowing her ambition to drive meaningful impact rather than social separation or ego-driven competition in any field she chooses to master. The sixth sign, helping others rise, even when no one is watching, reflects leadership rooted in character rather than recognition. A woman meant for greatness understands that influence is not only about personal advancement, but about contributing to the growth of people around her. She does not help others only when there is an audience, praise, or potential reward. Instead, kindness, mentorship, and support become natural extensions of her personality. This behavior reveals internal strength because true generosity does not depend on external validation. Supporting others also creates long-term strength within communities and professional networks. When she shares knowledge, encourages talent, or offers guidance, she is not losing her own advantage. In fact, she is multiplying collective capability. Greatness built on isolation is fragile, but greatness built on contribution becomes sustainable. People remember not only achievements, but also how someone made them feel valued, respected, and inspired to improve their own potential. Helping others rise also reflects confidence. Individuals who feel threatened by others' success often hesitate to support them. However, she understands that another person's growth does not reduce her own possibilities. Opportunity is not a limited resource that disappears when shared. By celebrating others' achievements, she creates an environment where collaboration becomes stronger than competition. This trait also shapes moral leadership. In situations where authority, expertise, or influence is present, she chooses responsibility over superiority. She may offer advice quietly, mentor patiently, and encourage progress without expecting public appreciation. Over time, this behavior builds a legacy of respect and trust because people recognize her as someone who adds value to lives rather than someone who only collects recognition for herself. The seventh sign, being not afraid of intelligent disagreement, reflects intellectual courage and emotional stability. A woman meant for greatness understands that agreement is not always a sign of wisdom, and disagreement is not always a sign of conflict. She is comfortable encountering ideas that challenge her thinking because she sees debate as a tool for refinement rather than a threat to identity. Many people avoid disagreement because they associate it with rejection or social discomfort. However, she separates ideas from ego, allowing truth-seeking to remain more important than being proven right. Intelligent disagreement also strengthens decision-making quality. When she encounters different perspectives, she evaluates evidence, logic, experience, and long-term consequences before forming conclusions. This approach prevents impulsive judgments and improves strategic thinking. In leadership or professional environments, this trait becomes especially valuable because innovation often emerges from the interaction of conflicting viewpoints. Progress in complex systems rarely comes from uniform thinking, but from the synthesis of diverse ideas. She also practices respectful communication during disagreement. She does not attack personalities when discussing concepts. Instead, she focuses on arguments, data, or reasoning. This creates an atmosphere where people feel safe expressing honest opinions. Such behavior earns long-term respect because others recognize her as someone who values truth more than emotional dominance. Another important aspect is mental independence. She does not automatically accept majority opinion if it conflicts with her understanding or moral framework. At the same time, she remains open to changing her position when presented with stronger evidence. This combination of conviction and flexibility creates intellectual maturity, allowing her to stand firm when necessary while continuing to grow through learning and dialogue. The eighth sign, building routines that protect her future, reflects disciplined life design, rather than living based on random motivation. A woman meant for greatness understands that motivation is temporary, but structured habits create permanent momentum. She does not wait for emotional energy to start working toward her goals. Instead, she designs daily patterns that automatically move her closer to success, even on days when enthusiasm is low. This approach transforms ambition into practical action because greatness is not created in isolated moments of inspiration, but through repeated execution. Routines also reduce mental chaos and decision fatigue. Every day, the human brain spends energy deciding small things such as what to do next, how to prioritize tasks, or how to respond to distractions. By establishing consistent schedules for learning, work, rest, and self-development, she frees mental space for higher-level thinking. This allows her to focus on creativity, strategy, and problem-solving rather than constantly managing uncertainty. Another important element is future protection. She understands that short-term comfort can sometimes destroy long-term stability. Therefore, she invests time in health, knowledge, financial planning, and skill development. These routines act like invisible shields that protect her when life becomes unpredictable. Discipline becomes her silent partner because it ensures she keeps moving forward even when external circumstances are unstable. Routines also build self-trust. When she consistently follows what she planned, her mind begins to believe in her reliability. This psychological confidence strengthens resilience during difficult periods because she knows her own behavior is predictable in a positive way. Over time, disciplined routines transform effort into mastery and intention into achievement. Greatness in a woman is not measured by noise, attention, or constant validation from the world. It is revealed through quiet strength, disciplined thinking, emotional intelligence, and consistent movement toward purpose. The 20 signs we explored are not about perfection, but about direction. A woman meant for greatness is someone who keeps growing even when growth feels invisible. She is comfortable walking her own path, measures success by personal progress, protects her time, listens more than she speaks, and carries ambition without arrogance. Her power lies in lifting others, embracing intelligent disagreement, and building routines that secure her future. Such a woman understands that the world often celebrates results, but rarely witnesses the long process behind them. Yet she continues anyway, because her motivation is not applause, but meaning. She knows solitude can be a classroom, humility can be strength, and discipline can be freedom. Greatness for her is not a destination where she arrives one day and stops. It is a lifelong commitment to becoming better in character, knowledge, and influence. In a world that often pushes women to choose between strength and softness, she proves that both can coexist. She can be visionary and compassionate, ambitious and respectful, independent and supportive. The woman meant for greatness does not wait for history to choose her. She shapes her own story through courage, patience, and persistent action. And long after the world notices her success, her real legacy will be the lives she inspired and the future she helped build.